Hey everybody, Josh Sigurdson of World Alternative Media here, and of course we're here with Don Woodstock, who is of course a familiar face on Wham, and we now...
And Kathy.
Of course.
And my better half, my lovely better half.
Absolutely, and now Don, of course you might remember from many activist causes that here in Winnipeg, community activist causes, and he's just crazy enough to want to work in this building. We're here at the Manitoba Legislative Building. We got the caucus room behind us, and I wanted to ask Don, now you're no longer with the Green Party, so no. What happened?
Well, you know, it's the strangest thing, Josh. After the showing, my very well good showing at the federal election for the Green Party, which I got more than the national average in terms of votes, which I thought for all those who have supported me and voted for me, thank you very much. But inside the provincial Green Party, unknown to me, was some deep-rooted NDP loyalists who, in my view, got offended by me challenging Mr. Pat Martin on something which is basic, which is, you know, for 20-odd years you're in office, okay, what have you done?
Yeah.
I mean, it's a general, typical question. Besides, you're in a debate.
Yeah.
And so I don't conform to the norm that you should follow the debate protocols of only asking questions that's scripted.
Of course.
I've never been that way. And so there were too many issues that I've lived with on the ground in the community, too many issues that I've seen, too many people I've seen suffer with these issues for me to have it just go on.
Yeah.
Okay, so for me, it's, okay, what can we do? I have to ask the question.
Yeah.
So by me asking the question, Pat Martin got offended, but it also rubs a lot of the Green Party insiders too, because after the election, I got a letter. And the letter is as plain Jane as ever. The caucus, the council have met and decided that even though I was duly nominated as a candidate for them, that they have decided not to have me as a candidate going forward. And I go, what? For what? Why?
So you're basically shut down by your own party, and this, of course, isn't the first time this has happened to you, because you know you were controversial to an extent for what, asking serious questions, or
they think that's controversy, and to me, if you can't stand the heat, don't stay in the kitchen. A lot of people who get elected is only on the purpose of what is it they're going to show that they're doing. Have no interest to solving issue for the people. No. None whatsoever. I do not fit into that mold, and so I don't want to be in that mold. My mold is, if you're going to be involved at all in politics, it should be directly related to the results on the ground for the people that you're jumping up and down say you care about. What is the sense of me getting involved in politics just for what I can get?
Yeah.
We have seen too many of that.
Yeah, for sure.
Too many politicians jump in, and the first thing they want to do is promotions.
Yeah.
The first thing they want is what promotion they can get. They don't care about the people that vote for them, how their lives are on a daily basis. Mental health, a simple thing as resolving, dealing with the issue of mental health. They can't do it. CFS, they can't. Why? They are only interested in following the party line, saying catchwords and phrases that get you, the voter, now mad at me and you. We're neighbors before the election, and the election is called, we are no enemies because you green, I red, you green. Stop, man. Stop.
Yeah.
Enough of it.
Well, and of course it gets so ridiculous after a while, because you had a similar problem with the Liberal Party before, and I mean, it seems to be a trend, and I mean, it shows, though, it goes to show that you know, the parties from top to the bottom, they're kind of controlling their candidates, and instead of allowing candidates to freely speak about what they believe in. And I think that's so important in politics, when candidates can actually talk and politicians can actually talk about about what they believe in and not be held up by some higher power that tells them you must follow this strictly, this rule guide, and you're not allowed to say this or do that. You're an individual human being who has beliefs,
and we come out as representative of the community. Then if we are truly representative of the community, then when I ask my former party a question that my constituents ask me, okay, then you can't suspend my membership because I asked that question. No. We live in the community. We work in the community. People see us every day. We don't hide. We don't live somewhere else. So when people see us and they ask us to talk about certain things, my obligation, I think it's only fair that I raise those issues. So when I raise them on behalf of my community, being the president of the constituency, you can't then turn around and say you suspended my membership.
No.
What?
No.
And the question I ask is a legitimate one. If you Google, okay, Rana Bikari's name, you'll see her involvement in the residential school, and it's not good. So that's a legitimate question. And the question I ask is, election is coming up. Do you not think it's going to be used against you? And then I'm a bad guy?
Yeah.
No, man.
Well, you have a lot of issues now, if you don't mind walking with me here.
Yes.
So what is the number one reason you want people to vote for you? What will you do for the voter?
There is nobody now, currently, in the Legislative Assembly, okay, who is prepared to stand up outside of their political party line and defend the people's interests. Yeah. They say they're doing that, but they cannot do it. No. And they're only pretending to do it. Okay? They don't have the backbone for it, they don't have the stomach for it, and it's a shame that, and no wonder you have 42% of the voting public. Yeah. 42%, okay? That don't care for none of the big trees and won't say if they're gonna even vote. 42%. So what does that tells you? That people are sick and tired. They're just totally sick and tired of listening to the same old nonsense and listening to the party rhetoric. Party rhetoric is good for a time, but after a time, tell me how the people live from day to day. Show me how the children are moving from point A to B and developing and having their skills and the full potential being achieved. Show that to me.
Of course.
We started, with the help of my wife here, we started the West End Football Futures Clinic. And we do a free clinic annually, and we have a scholarship that we also started, only because this is what we saw. We saw that need. There are other MLAs who have been on the ground for 15 years. What happened? They haven't seen it. They don't want to see it. Okay, and the reason they don't want to see it is because they are refusing to see it. It's in their faces every day. Yeah. This is not rocket science. So why is it that they don't formulate policies that will make sure, if nothing else, at least when we see people, we know them moving from point A to point B in a better frame of mind, more healthier frame of mind, and more conscious living frame of mind, one in which they can say, you know what, last year I was at point A and I didn't have a job, this year I have a job. Yeah. Last year I didn't have, I couldn't afford to think about university for Johnny, but this year I can see where there's a chance I'm going to be thinking about it and maybe afford it in the next 5. Nothing like that is happening. Absolutely. And that's where the problem is. That needs to change. And in order for that to change, is the politics needs to change. Yeah. And by changing the politics, we have to have people elect me, somebody who has done it. And this is not a talk. I mean, if people go and see the things that and this is us, this is my team. Yeah. My number one supporter is right here, right? With a small handful of people, we managed to accomplish more than even the elected representatives themselves. Why? Because we see it. And most importantly, it pays to have a woman with a good head beside you.
Absolutely.
Like, seriously.
Well, you two definitely are a team. And I propose the question first to Kathy. What is like the number one goal going forward? Like, what is the most important issue that it needs to be tackled this election?
Oh man, you know what? There's a lot of issues that need to be tackled, but the number one is CFS. Yeah. Awesome. We have to fix a very broken system there. So, you know what? If Don is elected, and I sure hope he is, we would love to be able to tackle that one.
Well, and that's something that so many people are talking about. I mean, people in British Columbia are messaging me about the CFS in Manitoba. It's become something of more of an international issue because people in the U.S. are talking about the Manitoba CFS. I got a message from someone in California that said, we're seeing the news over here. I can't believe how bad it is over there. So, I mean, what can you do about CFS as an independent politician?
With the power of the legislative pen as the MLA, as an independent MLA, I would be able to take the little bit of good that is out of the NDP, because don't kid yourself, there's a little bit of what they stand for, okay, have some merit. And I'll take the little bit of good with Pallister, okay? And I'll be able to blend that together for Minto, for the people on the ground. And that's the message. I would be able to stand where it needs to stand and call for changes without worrying about being kicking out the caucus. We have seen what happened with the Gang of Five, Andrew Swan coming up telling everybody that Greg Selinger is no good, but all of a sudden, Andrew Swan win $168,000, and all of a sudden Andrew Swan get a big promotion. Now, was that payoff or was that a hush-hush? Was that a silence? Like, what's going on
There's
here?
a lot of talk about
There's a lot,
that,
oh man, you know what I mean? So for me, I want to be able to have somebody in the legislature, which there is none right now, who, if there's an issue come up of the 60 scoop apology, without giving Greg Selinger a pat on the back for, oh, you're apologizing, I'm going to go, stop. You're apologizing for something you didn't do. What about what you are doing? Okay, who's going to apologize for that? When you're dead and gone? No. Let's address that. And everybody stood and clapped except me. And I would be the only one on the floor who would be ballsy enough to stand up and says, nope, I ain't applauding you. And given the time that every elected representative would have, I'd use that time to filibuster things. You know what I mean? This government have to start working for the people and stop working for themselves and the party.
Absolutely.
Greg Selinger is playing a game, throwing everything he can, billions of dollars worth of spending, because he knows if Pallister's coming, they have to go cut, right? And then they'll stand by and go, see, I told you. Who suffers?
Well, and that's a point I want to make, because there's so much spending coming from the NDP government, and at the same time, there's so much money coming in from the apprehension of children in CFS. I mean, it's about $500 million a year industry. So, I mean, it's like, there's all this spending on ridiculous ventures for them, but at the same time, there's all this money coming in from the most nefarious, horrible reasons. And so, how can people help you as an independent candidate? How can people get involved and help you get elected and work at this kind of scary building that we're standing in right now?
to make this building work for the people? It's simple. Don't stay out of the campaign and says, Don, I wish you well. Wishing me well ain't gonna do it. Don't pat me on the back and says, good job, way to go. That is not going to do it. It's going to take some money, and whether it be a $5 donation or it means a $100 donation, it doesn't matter. Barack Obama didn't win with all $100 donation. He collected some $5 too. I'll take some $5 donation. Please give it to me. Yes. Okay. You'll get a charitable receipt for $10 or more. Is that what it is? Or for $20, whatever it is, $20 or more. But we need to start collecting those donations, and people can reach me. I am probably the only person that can be reachable. My phone number is around the place. I'm not hard. You find me on Facebook, Twitter, or whatever. People need to step up to the plate. I asked a question recently when we went after Stephen Harper. And this is my disappointment with the First Nation community. When we went after Stephen Harper, it was justified, very justified. I supported them. I was behind them 100%. Now it's Greg Selinger's turn for the rock the vote and Jackie and everybody to step up. Now they're stepping aside, they're backing away. Why? Why? Is that the reason why Greg Selinger now transfer $500 million a year industry over in their laps and go, okay, no, they're going to keep quiet and love him because they can get money? The problem still remains the same. Southern Authority is no different now with less than $500,000 worth of budget than when they get $500,000 worth of.
Yeah.
Can you imagine the corruption?
Yeah. Well, and he's trying to hand out little goodies and say, elect me again and you'll get these, but those goodies don't solve the main problems at hand. So
we have to change CFS. We have
Yeah.
to change the model. The most important thing is to change the model. You cannot have children being ripped from families. What families need, instead of ripping, because you know the model currently exists, Judge, they'll take your son from you, okay, and give your son to me and give me $100 a day to look after your child, but they wouldn't give you $10 a day to look after that child.
No.
How about we split the difference? What about making resources available to you at $50 a day?
Yeah.
To make sure you're the parent that you and your son, daughter want to be, because in the mix between the families talking to each other, they'll find the answer. The children need to be talking again to their parents as parent, not as, oh, I'm going to call CFS on you and try to do this or try to do that. It does not work. What needs to happen is that there got to be more support for families, less money to agencies and more money to families. And families, and I'm going to hasten to say, I am not ignorant to the fact that there are some families that don't deserve to have their children. I am aware of that.
There are abusive parents.
There are abuse. I am aware of that. But that's where now you get into the business of the support system. Okay? And I have seen on the ground the little bit that my wife and I have done when we support a family and help them. And we have, with a little bit, God bless her, with a little bit that we have, when we support families, and sometimes we just talk to some of these families and think, you know what happens? Results. I see remarkable improvement. It's a shame I can't bring them into the forefront, because if I could bring those families that we have had a little bit of success with by doing one thing and one thing only, integrating the family back, putting more support. As a matter of, sometimes it costs me $50. So we're not talking millions of dollars here. You know what I mean? Just to give family the support that they don't have to worry about where to eat. They don't have to worry about where to live. They don't have to all of those things. You take those stresses away, then the parent, the mother and the father can be mother and father again. And we need that help. We need that help. We need that support. So we need to change the bureaucratic red tape. But there's nobody going to do it. There's nobody in here now, and that's why I am running independent, because I said, hey, if they ain't going to do it in here, and those that are jumping around saying that they want your vote, they're not talking about these issues. Nobody's addressing the fact that $18 a day is given to somebody with a mental health issue to survive. Are you kidding me? $18 a day? Like, come on.
Well, you've definitely for many years now stood up for a lot of issues, and you've made a lot of sacrifices for those issues. So it's always good to talk with you, and I'm sure our viewers have been asking a lot about you, so it'll be good to be able to give them something here. So we will be talking soon, I'm sure, and thank you very much.
You're welcome.